Your dog is up again at 2 in the morning, scratching against the bed frame until you hear the collar rattle. That sound means something specific is happening under the fur right now, and most owners are treating it the wrong way tonight. There's one thing you can add to that bath water that calms this down fast, and one thing people confuse it with that can actually make things worse. I'm a veterinarian. I've treated dogs for more than 20 years, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what goes in that tub, in what order, and why. Before we get into it, drop your dog's name and age in the comments. It helps me picture exactly who we're talking about tonight, and it's nice to know who's watching along with their dog right now. If you've bathed your dog twice this week already, and you're still watching that same spot get raw, you are not doing anything wrong, and you are not a careless owner. Reaching for the tub before things got out of hand is exactly what a caring owner does. Maybe a vet visit felt like overkill for just some itching. Maybe it felt expensive for something that looked minor from the couch at 9 at night. That instinct to try something at home first comes from attention, from noticing a change in your dog before most people would even catch it. The fact that you're watching this at 2 in the morning, worried about a smell or a scratch mark on your own dog's skin, already tells me plenty about the kind of owner you are, and it's the good kind. Here's the belief that gets a lot of dogs in real trouble, that mange is mange, and a home bath recipe, vinegar, oatmeal, whatever's sitting in the pantry, clears it up in a few days flat. That's not quite true, and the gap between the two matters more than it looks. Most of what owners call mange at home is actually plain irritated, inflamed, or yeasty skin. That kind of skin genuinely responds to a soothing bath, often fast, sometimes within a couple of days. Real mange is a different animal entirely. It's caused by mites, either the sarcoptic kind or the demodectic kind, and it needs a vet's skin scraping and real medication to clear. A bath calms the skin around a mite problem. It never touches the mite itself, no matter how many nights in a row you run the tub. That gap is the whole game tonight. A bath that soothes irritated skin and a treatment that clears a mite infestation are two different things wearing the same name. And mixing them up is exactly how a simple problem quietly turns into a bigger one under a coat that looks fine at first glance. So what's actually happening under that fur? Itchy dog skin almost always traces back to one of two everyday things. A yeast called Malassezia that lives on every dog in small numbers and overgrows in warm, damp folds in between the toes, or general inflammation from allergies, dryness, or friction. Both leave the skin barrier, the layer meant to lock moisture in and keep irritants out, leaky and reactive, so nerve endings fire more easily than they should. That's the itch-scratch loop, and it works like a squeaky door hinge. The more it gets worked, the louder and rawer it gets. A properly diluted vinegar rinse lowers the skin's pH just enough to make it inhospitable to that yeast, the same way watering down bleach for a countertop still cleans the surface without burning it. Colloidal oatmeal coats and calms inflamed skin the way a cool compress calms a sunburn. It doesn't fix what caused the burn, it turns the discomfort down fast. Mange runs on a completely different chain. A mite burrows into or rides the skin and triggers a much heavier immune response. And no amount of soothing on top touches it, because the cause is still alive underneath. The same way lotion on a splinter never gets the splinter out. If any of this is landing for your dog right now, I genuinely appreciate a subscribe, and a like helps this reach more owners dealing with that same 2 a.m. scratching tonight. That's really the only reason I ask. Now the signs, because most owners already sense something is off. They just aren't sure if it's normal or worth worrying about. A dog scratching after a walk through tall grass is completely normal. A dog working the same spot raw night after night is not. A faint corn chip smell on clean paws can just be normal skin oil doing its job. A sour smell that returns strong, days after a bath, means yeast is overgrowing again. And it's worth noting when it started. Pink, slightly warm skin in the folds is common in hot weather or after a swim. Skin that's gone thick, gray, or leathery in that same spot has been dealing with something for a good while, not a day or two. A few thinning patches near a collar or harness are worth a note, nothing more. Bald patches that expand with a clear edge, especially ones starting on the face, the elbows, or the ears, are a real mange red flag, not a wait-and-see situation. Mild irritation that calms within a day or two of a soothing bath is one story. Irritation that keeps spreading no matter how consistently you bathe is a completely different one. And it's telling you something the bath water alone can't answer. But here's exactly where most owners get the timeline wrong, and it's worth slowing down for. watching for a few more days to see if a bath alone handles it feels reasonable in the moment. Underneath a real mite problem, those extra days are exactly the window where things quietly get worse instead of better. Left alone, mild irritation doesn't stay mild. It turns into constant scratching, which breaks the skin barrier further and opens the door to a secondary bacterial infection. Now you're not treating simple irritation anymore. You're treating an infection sitting on top of it. If the real cause underneath is mites and only a bath is ever used, the mite population keeps expanding under the coat the entire time the skin looks calmer on the surface. Small patches become widespread hair loss. Thin skin becomes thickened, uncomfortable skin that's harder to treat the longer it sits. And a straightforward bath fix turns into a much longer recovery, sometimes with antibiotics added on top of what should have been one quick vet visit. None of this is rare or dramatic. It's simply what unmanaged skin problems do over weeks, not overnight. It doesn't stop at the skin either. Chronic itching wrecks a dog's sleep and appetite the same way it would wreck yours. Constant licking and chewing pushes yeast up from the paws toward the ears, which is where a lot of random ear infections actually start. A dog stuck in that loop tends to get quieter and less playful around the house, even if nobody connects it to the skin at first. Calm the skin, and very often you get the whole dog back, not just the itching. I want to tell you about Bella, a 4-year-old terrier mix who came into my clinic scratching her belly raw, with that sour corn chip smell between her toes that so many owners describe the exact same way. We started an oatmeal soak and a properly diluted vinegar rinse that same week, and the redness calmed noticeably within days, which felt like real progress. But the bald patch near her elbow kept spreading anyway, and that detail told us this wasn't just irritated skin. A skin scrape found early sarcoptic mites. Once real medication started, her itching resolved over about 3 weeks, and the bath kept her comfortable the entire time. It just was never going to finish the job on its own. So here's exactly what goes in that tub tonight, and in what order, since the order matters almost as much as the ingredients themselves. 2 pieces, used the right way, at the right dilution, for the right dog, in the right sequence. Nothing exotic, nothing you can't find tonight. First, the oatmeal soak. Mix finely ground colloidal oatmeal into lukewarm to cool bath water. Never hot. Hot water only feeds the itch and undoes the calming effect before it starts. Use about 1/3 of a cup for a small dog, closer to 1/2 a cup for a medium or large dog. Stir it until the water turns milky rather than sitting gritty at the bottom of the tub. Let your dog soak for about 10 minutes, long enough for the oatmeal to actually settle onto irritated patches instead of just rinsing straight off. Rinse gently afterward and towel dry without scrubbing, since scrubbing undoes half the point of the soak by re-irritating skin that just calmed down. You can repeat this every few days without any trouble, and for an especially raw spot, a thicker paste left on for 15 to 20 minutes works better than the full body soak alone. Most owners notice calmer, less irritated skin somewhere between a few days and about 2 weeks of staying consistent with it, and the smell tends to ease before the redness fully does. Here's the part almost everyone gets slightly wrong, and it's worth getting right, because getting it wrong is exactly what turns a soothing bath into a stinging one, and a calmer dog into a more uncomfortable one by morning. Over one misstep most owners never think twice about. The second piece is the vinegar rinse, and dilution is everything here. Mix apple cider vinegar with water at roughly 1 part vinegar to 2 parts water for normal skin, and go even more diluted if your dog's skin looks sensitive or already a little reactive. Apply it after the bath over the areas prone to yeast, the paws, the skin folds, the base of the ears. Leave it on for 2 to 3 minutes, then rinse thoroughly. Don't just towel over it. Once or twice a week is plenty. Daily use irritates skin instead of helping it heal. This part matters more than any dose you'll hear tonight. Never put vinegar, even diluted, on raw, broken, or bleeding skin, because it stings badly there and can set healing back instead of moving it forward. And here's the honest ceiling on all of this. If what you're looking at is truly mange, spreading bald patches, itching that won't quit, a diagnosis you're waiting on, this bath supports the skin. It was never going to be the treatment. The mite underneath still needs a vet skin scraping and a real prescribed medication to actually clear. The bath earns its place by keeping your dog comfortable, while that real treatment does the rest of the work. Don't start the oatmeal soak. the vinegar rinse, and a brand new shampoo all in the same week. Skin, like a stomach, handles one new thing at a time better than 3 thrown at it at once. Start with the oatmeal soak for a couple of weeks. Get a feel for how your dog's skin responds to it. Then later in the vinegar rinse once you know the skin tolerates it well. That order is what actually works, and it's also the order that keeps you from guessing which piece helped if anything changes down the road. Most owners who stay patient with this simple sequence end up needing far less trial and error than the ones who try everything on the shelf at once. If the itching or the bald patch is still spreading once you've been consistent with both for a couple of weeks, that's your sign to stop guessing and let a vet look under a microscope instead of running another home round on your own. Tell me below, is your dog dealing with an itchy smell, a bald patch, or both right now? And how long has it actually been going on? If this helped you understand what's actually happening under that fur, subscribing costs nothing, and the like genuinely helps this reach another owner standing in their bathroom at midnight wondering the exact same thing you were an hour ago. Go fill that tub tonight. Sit with your dog while it works, and if anything about those patches still doesn't add up in a week or two, let your vet take a look before the timeline stretches any longer than it needs to. Then dry off that coat, scratch behind the ears for a minute, and let the rest of the night be a quiet one for both of you.